Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the weekend update. And what an insane week it was this past week. We had lots of volatility, which is not a bad thing if one is sitting in a nice cash position, not over leveraged in plays, and ready and able to take advantage of some of these nonsensical dips that we saw midweek. Now, we're looking here at the Dow daily chart. And after that brief dip down, we are again challenging this 35K breakout level. So it's going to be interesting to see if we can continue this breakout this week. Of course, what drove the craziness in the market was interest rates falling yet again to another low, and the market did not understand why this happened, or at least that was the excuse out there. You recall, we sold off when rates did this. Rates have done the opposite, and the same kind of panic and fear is still out there, which tells you it really doesn't matter. They're going to spin the news to whatever way is going to suit the movement in the markets or how the algorithms read headlines. Just more of the same. Volatility is not a bad thing. It's much better than a dead market where nothing moves, at least in volatile markets, especially like we saw with the action on Wednesday and Thursday. Those big dips end up giving very, very nice bounces. Quick look at the Qs. Qs are again pushing nice all-time highs. RSI is up in the nosebleed now. As you can see, the last time we were this overbought was back in September going into the election nonsense. So let's see what happens here this week. This is an indication of the speculative money in the market. IWC, this is the microcap index. Now, we have a double, triple top breakout potential here, but at least we're slowly moving higher. Again, the problem this year has been something we've not seen over many, many years, that all stocks are essentially tied to the movements in large stocks. That has not happened for as long a period as it has this year. And what I mean by that is this SPY goes up and gaps big, we see stocks flat or slightly up unless they've got news or the algorithms are on it. SPY drops a little bit, it's like a mega sell-off in most stocks in the market. So we're still stuck in that weird algorithm trading programs that are going throughout the market, but things look good. As I mentioned in last week's video, this period after July 4th tends to be very speculative, has been from my notes over the last 5 years. Now, we did see a lot of volatility this week, and it was not easy trading. But again, not to harp on it again, if you were positioned correctly and still sitting on a lot of cash, it was a very, very nice market this past week. Currently, I think I'm sitting on anywhere between 75 to 85%. That's my swing goal range for my cash position right now. I want exposure to stocks, but I don't want too much exposure. I don't need to be over invested, especially in a market doing what we saw this past week, and that's going to continue to be my game plan in the near term. PLY, large cap play, it got whooped, as you can see. These high short interest stocks, this is typical when you see the market having some kind of issue or scare tactics. These high short interest stocks, while they're great on the upside, they also get oversold craziness on the downside. We saw a nice big bounce back though on Friday on play, and I've got these little levels here. These are more an idea for you if you're looking to day trade these extreme dips here. This stock has some nice $2 range levels here. We're back into one of them here, so next move up could be up towards 40, and these are going to act as resistance levels. This is a longer term swing for me right now. I believe this is a company that, if the memes finally latch onto it, could be very, very nice. They're actually a real company, and they're growing back to pre-pandemic levels, and that should eventually get reflected, in my opinion, in the market cap. AI, which continues to be my barometer for the overall market health, you can see a little bit of weakness early in the week, and then the last 2 days, some green action on this one, which corresponded with the nice trading that we saw Thursday and Friday. Now, AI is essentially looks like it's found its bottom now in this bottom range, and what I am looking for going forward would be this stock to break out. This would be an indication to me to the mania returning. If it's able to break out of this $60 to $75 range, we would probably see that corresponding with mania in the kinds of speculative stocks that I trade. So that's what I'm looking for on this chart right now. But let's jump into some plays. Verb, what a monster. Just absolutely very, very nice. This is an ATM right now. As you know, Thursday, CEO put that video out saying that the Microsoft press release is any moment. And as we know, remember when it was down here and I was talking that I expected everyone and their mom would chase this stock on some sort of news? Got a $4 upgrade, ran all the way up to the 250s, came right back down again, and has been going back and forth for us. Now, I'd be very surprised if we do not see this press release Monday or Tuesday. And my expectation is, as it always is the case, you're going to have these algorithms and scanner chasers going, oh, Microsoft. Who knew they were going to put out a press release and probably be chasing this in pre-market one of the next 2 days? SPRT, what a volatile stock this has been. Let's check out the actual intraday. This was that insane sell-off that we saw midweek. They actually were able to push this one down to 385 after being up at 5+ a day prior, and then it bounced back huge over the coming couple of days, and then back into this upward trend that we see in place. Very strong sector here. Eni is the other peer. Now, this is Eni's 1 minute chart. Eni, significant sell-off late into the close. This is, again, another. The algorithms have latched onto this stock right now. But you can see here, just looking at this 1 minute chart going into next week, I could see this one popping 10 to 20 cents possibly come Monday morning. If we look at the daily chart, that one's still in a very nice uptrend. Now, this green Bitcoin mining sector, IKNX really set this sector up a couple of weeks ago when they announced their merger. It's got an approximate 800K float. I picked up a small swing on this one on Friday. This chart just looks too good to me not to have a little position in it near term, especially seeing what has been happening on some of these higher priced low float stocks. What I'm referring to is CARV. Let's look at a daily chart here. CARV. Well, look at this move on this one. And then Cone, this was another extreme low float bank stock. Huge move up. Now, we saw low float stocks very, very active over the last couple of days, and that's a good sign to actually see some sector momentum out there. And when you see the low floats blowing up like they did late in the week, that kind of momentum usually spills over into other stocks. But as for IKNX, this chart here really set up for one of those moves, especially if it starts to get volume. Now, one of the reasons I jumped into this one, I've been watching it for the last week, debating an entry in this stock, and when we saw this sell-off that hammered almost every stock out there, this stock was a champ during, I mean, it was essentially flat during all that carnage that we saw out there. When we saw the likes of SPRT go from 528 to 385, IKNX was essentially flat, and that was a sign to me that this stock is ready to rock and roll. Cipher, space play, and actually looks like Branson's launch is a couple of minutes away. This should load up the space sector. These guys are heavily involved with NASA. You're starting to see a lot of talk about the Artemis program. That's what these guys are involved in. So that's what we're sitting on here. Space launch today should bring the action back here. Now, this stock, you can see here, got hammered during that midweek sell-off, and it's only back to where it would have been at the bottom of its range before that actually happened. I go over here, and this is the daily chart, and you can see here we're essentially back down here. They were chasing this over 4 last week ahead of the space launch. So let's see what Monday morning brings. I think it should be up no matter what happens with this launch, because this is the new era. We also have Bezos launch in a week or so, like 9 days, I believe. Vizsla, this is the other space play, still woefully undervalued with the number of sectors, satellites, TV, etc., drones that these guys are involved in. This is just one of these stocks that gives fantastic ranges if you have the patience to play it. We're at the bottom of its uptrend right now. I think it's only a matter of time before we see that move back up to the mid-3s again. Got to mention Unami. I don't know what to say other than talk about monster news, but no one's interested still. We've had this happen on many a swing over the years, UAVS, INUV, etc., etc. So I'm okay sitting here and waiting for the inevitable move. Now, SNMP. This is the green merger play that reminds me so much of MMAT. And as you can see here, MMAT, aka Torch, this is where we were playing this one many times. And look at this. It ended up going up to almost a $2 billion market cap. Of course, offerings and reality have now hit the stock. But remember when you were playing this stock late last year and into this year, where the DD was rock solid here, but traders just weren't interested in it until it was 3, 4, 5, 600% higher. That is what I see playing out here on SNMP. A break over $1 should be the next freedom area on this stock, and my first target here on the swing would be that mid $1 range. Now, EV buses, this is also an infrastructure play as well. The volume has really not shown up here yet, and you'll recall if you go back and look at some of the old videos with Torch, that was one of the things I had said back then prior to it blowing up and getting that mega volume. So we still have not seen the real volume show up here, those 20, 30 million volume days. That'll be your indication that they finally found this stock. Quick mention on a couple of other low floats going into this week. Chi-Chi, ridiculous. Profitable stock, low float. Chasers come in, 650. Simple as that. And ELTK, again, another profitable micro float stock. Now, it's been ranging very, very nicely here over the last couple of days. Now, it hasn't gotten the big volume day, those million volume days. That should come on a close over 7. So that's it for the video, guys. Not as many swing plays right now. My emphasis is larger positions in the swings that I know have news coming near term, and then taking those gains on the big runners like Verb, Sport, etc., when they start to move. So have an awesome weekend, everyone, and I will see you in the chat room tomorrow. Bye.